hearing about hospitals under pressure and schools being closed for deep cleaning. And Public Health England say cases of norovirus are at higher levels than we would expect to see. Normally at this time of year, the government agency looked into the number of reports of the stomach bug between June to November and found an 11% increase in reports compared to previous years. Pat Cattini is the president of the Infection Prevention Society. Good morning to you, Pat.
Good morning, Ellie.
First of all, tell us what exactly is norovirus? How does it spread?
So norovirus is a very, very common winter vomiting bug. It affects just about everyone. No one's immune really from norovirus. And it's really quite unpleasant, but usually self-limiting, so just maybe 1 or 2 days. And people get really quite nasty diarrhea and maybe vomiting. Sometimes they get really unlucky and they get both. And you can feel very horrible for a day or so and then very horrible for another day or so because your joints are aching because you've got a viral illness. So it's really quite unpleasant, but hopefully for most people, not desperately serious.
Is there a reason why it strikes at this time of year? It's known as the winter vomiting bug in some areas, isn't it?
Yes, for many years we used to call it winter vomiting virus, but what we've seen really over recent years is that it happens year round, and it's particularly common when you've got closed environments. So, we do see outbreaks occurring in places like schools and hospitals, and of course, famously cruise ships, where you've got a fairly contained environment. These things spread very quickly. If you're in the vicinity of someone that vomits, your chances of picking it up are very high. And people go down like packs of dominoes or packs of cards, one after the other. So it really can be very, very infectious.
So how do you reduce your risk of infection?
Ideally, you want to not be around someone who's vomiting. One of my friends was very unfortunate when someone vomited in a tube carriage, and she went down with it a couple of days later. But obviously, you can't always avoid people, because especially if it's one of your children or someone in your household that's ill, or if you're someone who's in a caring role. But the main things are about good hand hygiene is important, making sure that you've got good food hygiene too, because it can contaminate food, and cleaning surfaces. So if someone vomits, it can spread quite a long way. There was a team in Derbyshire did a project. They called it Vomiting Larry. It was a machine that they sort of simulated vomiting, and they worked out that the viral particles, can go up to 10 feet away in front and 7 feet to the side. So when you're cleaning up, it's not a matter of just cleaning up the vomit. It's really disinfecting all the surfaces around. But that combination of good hand hygiene, good cleaning, is absolutely important. And if you have norovirus, the best thing you can do is take yourself, off to bed and try and stay away as much as possible from other people.
Yeah, well, I kind of feel like I should apologise to anybody who's having their breakfast at the moment.
Sorry.
It's a fairly horrible picture that you're painting, Pat. But
sorry.
It can be very serious, can't it? Because, a tummy bug is a tummy bug, but it can be serious for some people.
Well, for someone who's very elderly or very debilitated, when you have sort of profuse diarrhea, you lose a lot of fluid. So it's very important to try and get that fluid back in, because otherwise people can dehydrate quite easily. And that's difficult because, if every time you take a drink of something, then it's coming out the other end, that's not very nice. But if you can try and sort of, if you like, keep trying to put in the same sort of volume so that you are staying hydrated, that's really important. And if it doesn't sort itself out after about 48 hours, you might need to seek medical attention. But for the most part, most people, it's a nasty infection that you won't want to go very far from your bathroom and your bed, really, because of the aching and the constant trips back and forward to the bathroom.
Yeah, and is there a reason that it's particularly bad at the moment? Do you think that we're saying this 11% increase as opposed to previous years?
I don't know really. I think it fluctuates every year, and we see peaks and little bumps. But often, this time of year, the kids are all in school. Come the Christmas holidays, it may be that the schools are clean, they're not in contact with each other as much, and we'll see a drop. So it is that thing about people being in close contact and confined. And of course, in schools, you know, especially for younger children, they may not be able to, they may not realise that they're going to be sick. So they're exposing other people. They may not have as good a hand hygiene and sort of general hygiene as perhaps an older child might. So, you know, there's more likelihood of these things just passing around, but hopefully by the time they all break up for Christmas, it will start to tail off again.
Pat, thank you very much indeed. Pat Cattini, President of the Infection Prevention Society.